Designated Survivor Episode 9, The Blueprint. Now, this episode, as normal, has Kirkman dealing with some kind of out-of-the-box sort of things. So we have this whistleblower from the NSA. He's putting out all this random information, and it's like, okay. It starts off very interesting, because it's like, okay, he has all this insane information, but the stuff he's putting out is like, it was almost like he was waiting for Kirkman, but Kirkman says, like, I have nothing to hide. They bring up the stuff about his son. And he's like, well, that's a non-story. There's nothing there. So he's got nothing else. And so they go through this episode, and it's like, all right, well, if he's got nothing to worry about, then how is this going to become an issue? And then it becomes an issue, which we later find out wasn't really meant to be an issue, but it becomes like half an issue because he ends up pseudo making an enemy because his congressman is like mad and stuff about an old report or just an old article, because he's like, I'm not like that. And just the way that storyline played out through this episode really shocked me, because I wasn't expecting them to go through, this guy is at the NSA, he steals this information, and then we go through all this stuff, and by the end he gives up his life, basically the rest of his life pretty much, simply to tell Kirkman something's going on. Like, he gives him the file and everything. He tells him, what file to look at, and he sees the destruction of the Congress building. I don't know why I can't think of the actual freaking name of the building, the full name. But it was really crazy. Like, him giving him this information and, giving up his life and all this stuff. I was like, that's kind of insane. Like, it's crazy to think that he, like, I would assume that him having found that stuff, he knows, I mean, he might not know exactly who, but he's like, I know someone within this area can't know that I know this, so he gives up his freedom and all this stuff just to give him these files. And that one specific file, I'm sure there's some other useful information in there, but that one specific file is like, hey, this is what happened with the bombing, this is, this is planned, this was within our government. And once again, I don't know where that's leading. I don't know when or if, this stuff is going to blend together. I'm sure it'll blend together at some point, but who knows how long it'll take before they decide to blend this information with McLeish stuff, and we have our FBI thing, which we got a huge, I personally say that was the main story for this episode, just because I think it had the biggest impact. I know, with Kirkman being the main character, the main story was the NSA thing, but for me, I was like, the FBI stuff, for this episode at least, them, Wells going after McLeish, and her having to deal with, like, her old buddy who used to work in the FBI with her, coming in to, kind of investigate Atwood and investigate her as well. And he also ends up finding out that they're doing, like, their own personal investigations, Wells and the tech guy. So him coming into play I thought was really interesting as well, and I'm sure he'll be in the next episode. But Wells going in this episode, I was very entertained. I was like, they're going through, it's like, alright, McLeish is doing this, they need to get some sort of useful information on him, so they're going to his old army buddies. He's just playing it up. Everybody's like, man, this dude is perfect. And so he's playing it up about as best as he possibly can while she's trying to get this information on him. And of course, the whole episode, honestly, all I was waiting for was for Katana to show up. Like, I mean, because we saw him spying on her when she was spying on Atwood, and ever since then, I've just been waiting, like, when is he going to hit? What's going to happen? I honestly thought her FBI buddy, I was like, he's dead. Like, when they were at the diner, I was like, something's going to happen and he's going to die now. And it just kept going. Everything seemed fine. And then she has the congresswoman no longer hold up the meeting. She's like, alright, my witness will be here in 10 minutes. And as soon as she said, this is when this person will be here, I was like, oh, this is where Katana comes in, because there is no way that this is going to go well. And of course, random taxi. I don't know if that was planned. It's really hard for me to tell, because I'm like, I don't think the taxi thing was planned. I think that just happened to be there in DC, and that guy was a random douchebag taxi who wasn't getting out of the way. And then, whether that was the case or not, she gets hit by a truck. So she gets hit by a truck. She gets temporarily knocked out, because in the promo she does end up escaping before they get her out of the car. So now she's on the run. I assume she's going to try to, get to the meeting while also surviving. So I don't really know what to expect. I don't think she'll die, because she is one of the main characters, but it's hard to say if it'll have any impact. Like, considering they no longer held up the meeting, there has to be some way for them to, kind of still make it an issue. Like if she said, that she'll be in like 10 minutes or whatever, then they're gonna wait a little longer. Like, okay, well, she's supposed to be here already, but nothing's happened, so we have to, end the meeting. So they're gonna end the meeting, and she might survive and get there, but it'll be too late. So then we'll have sort of the like, background approach to it because they can't do it in front of everyone anymore because he's already been vetted and approved or whatever. So I'm assuming that that's what's going to happen. Like, Wells is going to have the information, but she won't be able to get there in time. But she'll still have it, so they'll have to find a way to expose it to the public in a different way. So I feel like that's how it might play out. But she's going to be on the run. Like I said, personally, I think she'll be fine. I'm not exactly worried about that. But I am very curious to see how it's going to play out. I mean, and this information that Catalan was working with McLeish when they were together in the army, and that explains how McLeish knows Catalan and knows whatever this, sort of secret in-government organization is. We still don't know, of course, who this whistleblower is that's been giving information to Wells. We still don't know that even the name of the woman that met with McLeish and met with Atwood. So there's still a lot of mystery as far as this organization and what's going on. Catalan seems like he's just the hitman, for this secret organization, which makes a ton of sense. But it's hard to say exactly where it's headed. And now we have, I'm totally forgetting his name, but Kirkman. All I could think was Franklin for some reason. I'm like, that is not his name. But with Kirkman now having this information about the actual bombing, I think that might lead to some new elements with both Wells and Atwood, simply because of the fact that he always thought something was weird with Atwood coming in. It's like, there's not much he can do as far as, like, I don't think he did it. He kind of has to roll with it. Like, he admitted it, and, he has all this evidence, like, there's a blind spot here, and this happened, and that happened, so that's how I did it. And it's like, things just seemed a little weird. Like, he came to me twice, and the second time, he just completely gives himself up. So he knows that something weird is going on, and now that he has this information, I'm wondering how that's going to play out. Like, is he going to, he's going to be like, I'm giving you a pardon because I know that something's off, and then Atwood is going to, try to fight him on, even getting pardoned, or is he going to end up going to Wells, and that's how they, end up working together and, basically getting rid of McLeish, and, I don't know where they go from there. I mean, it's not like they really have replacements. It's like we have to get rid of them. But there's just a lot of insanity. Of course, Kirkman being president, they at least make it seem like he might be in danger in the next episode, and he might get shot. If he actually gets shot, I would be surprised. But I feel like someone's gonna shoot, and they're gonna completely miss him, and they're gonna like try to shoot, and then it's like everybody panics. Very similar to the other episode, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I am excited. We're going to this mid-season finale, and I think it's going to be a really good episode. I think this was a really fun one, and it's going to lead to like the crazy city chase sort of thing with Wells trying to get to the Congress meeting and stuff. So I'm really excited to see where they take it. Who knows if they're going to utilize that hard drive more. I would assume they would, because he gave him a hard drive, and it has way more information. Like, he told him one specific file, but, everything he did, that's like number one, but there's got to be some other things in there that are going to be very crucial to Kirkman, once they kind of go through this stuff. So I'm excited to see what they do with this hard drive, like how that's going to affect the rest of the season, what secrets he learns, redacted files and things like that. If I don't know the government, so I don't know where redacted files are kept. Or if, they're redacted. I don't know. They might keep digital copies of redacted files. All they do is just have a file, and they just basically put black ink over it. So I don't know exactly how that's going to play out. If it's going to add more to the show outside of what it's already added with him seeing the bombing plans, or if it's just for the bombing plans. Maybe they'll save it for like a season 2 type of thing. Like, oh, this happens to relate to this, or there's some little bit of information from the hard drive, and that happens to connect to this case and stuff like that. So I feel like they definitely have options for where they can go with this hard drive. But for now, of course, the main thing is he found out about the bombing. Wells is on the run to tell them about Catalan working with McLeish. McLeish and how McLeish is also connected to the bombing. And I just, with it being the mid-season finale, something big is going to happen, of course. I like to think that they'll somehow learn the truth in some way, shape, or form, because Kirkman finding out about it, it's still very well hidden. Like, he's going to keep it within his own thing, because he has no idea that Wells knows all this stuff. So he's going to be like, alright, it's me, and basically it's just him and the security guard at this point. So he's going to keep it very tight-knit. She doesn't know that he knows, and he doesn't know that she knows. So it's still separated. And that's kind of what I'm waiting for when those two stories blend together. So I'm hoping that in the mid-season finale, other characters are able to find out the truth, about McLeish. Because at this point, it's been all Wells and Atwood. Atwood has had to sacrifice himself to save his son. Wells, she's on, especially now, she's on her own, because even the internal investigations guy, like I said, he found out what the tech guy was up to. So she's all on her own. She's on the run in the city, running from, I assume, Catalan. I believe that was him in the promo. It was super fast. So she's on the run, and I just hope that somehow she's able to get this information to someone else, because that's been like the big thing I've been waiting for, like for someone outside of the two of these characters, or three now, including the tech guy. I've just been waiting for someone else to find out the truth about all this stuff about McLeish. And if she dies, then that's not going to happen. And like I said, I don't think she will. So I believe at least the Congresswoman is going to figure it out. And we'll just see where it goes from there. And maybe McLeish screwed himself over, because he threw this out there, and I knew why he was doing it. Because he was at the White House, and he was talking to Kirkman, and he was about to leave after he was questioned. He's like, oh, and it was like, oh, I'm just kind of like throwing this out there at random, but Atwood's most trusted partner or whatever, like in the FBI, this Agent Wells, she seemed a bit obsessed with me and stuff. It's like, I don't know if that has anything to do with this, but like, he was being super coy about, like, I'm just throwing this out there, she might be obsessed, I don't know, stop her. So he may have screwed himself over with that, because he was trying to do it like, oh, this is the problem. But now that Kirkman has seen that file, maybe the first thing he'll think about doing is going straight to Wells, like, if she's so obsessed, maybe she might have some extra information. So hopefully that's all this stuff plays out. Kirkman just ends up sending, some people out to try to find her, and they end up finding her, stopping Catalan. I don't think they'll actually find him, like, stop him and kill him or capture him, because I feel like that would be too much information. But at the same time, secret organizations who plan bombings years in advance and stuff, I think they can lose one hitman. So it's hard to say exactly how it's going to go in this next episode. But certainly love this one. Definitely want to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And of course, with the mid-season finale coming up, I want to know what you guys think is going to happen. Like, what is Wells going to do? I think that's the biggest question at this point. I know the promo makes it seem like Kirkman will get shot and stuff like that. I did mention it early on, like, what if they actually did kill him off, and then it changed again to somebody new? That would be insane. But I think he'll be fine. My main concern is what's going to happen with Wells, because she is a main character. Also, she's Maggie Q. I mentioned that, like, in the series premiere. I like Maggie Q as an actress, so I really hope she doesn't get killed off on the show. But that's kind of a big question for me, like, how is she going to survive, or if she's going to survive, because I don't really know. But is she going to survive? And also, what is going to happen with this information? Because even if she makes it, like I said, she might be too late. The meeting might be over, and they might not be able to do that public kind of forum that they were hoping for. Like, this is what's going on with McLeish, and that's why he's a bad person. They'll have to do it kind of behind the scenes, where it won't be, it'll just be like, oh, they're just saying this. People won't question it as much, because it's not an official meeting type of thing. So I want to know your theories on how it's going to play out. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.